Welcome back, boys, Gooners. Congratulations. Well done on the comeback today, the comeback trail, and winning the game. Brandon, give me your thoughts on the first of all, the win, to come back like that and to grab the trophy and to win the game.
Yeah, I mean, look, Tel, I see what you're saying about the whole psychological edge type thing. I definitely think it will give these players confidence. And the one thing that I did like about our performance today is the never die attitude from Arsenal. You know, we see it in numerous of occasions over the last few years when we go against Manchester City, we concede the first goal and then we capitulate afterwards. And we didn't do that today. You know, we kept going right till the very end. And then you get a bit of luck at the end. And then, you know, you go on to win on penalties. And it just goes to show, never give up. Never give up. And when Trossard came on, I thought he was very good. I thought he actually highlights to me as the player that can do the Gabriel Jesus role while Gabriel Jesus is not available, because he's more of that type of player with the link-up play, and that you just see it when he comes on. We move the ball a lot quicker. And then, of course, you know, the goal, like you say, it's fortuitous, but you know, if you don't bring Trossard in, you don't score the goal. It's as simple as that. But if we go back to the starting 11, go back to the beginning of the game, I was a little bit worried about Kai Havertz starting in that 9 role. You know, when we signed Kai Havertz, pretty much every Arsenal fan said, look, we don't mind it as long as he's not starting as our number 9. We've already seen what he can do at Chelsea in that role, and it's not good enough. But in actual fact, in the first half, I thought he held up the ball reasonably well. You know, winning headers when Ramsdale was kicking long. He was holding up the ball reasonably well. But he also highlights part of the reason why I don't think we'll win the league this season, right? And I'll get into that in just a second.
Yeah, okay, yeah, we'll come back to that in a minute. So I want to get people's reactions to kind of winning this. From your point of view, Tevin, how do you feel after coming back the way you did, picking up that trophy? Do you think there's a psychological boost that Arsenal can take from this?
Can everyone hear me? Just to make sure.
Perfect, bro.
Yeah. I think it's always good, I guess, to come back against a team that you've been struggling against. I mean, we've been their beating stick for years, so it's good. I wouldn't say it's not going to be like that psychologically boosting, but you need to have small victories if you're trying to climb a mountain in terms of the gap that we've had over the years. I'm not going to look at this and say, oh my God, we finally did it. Yes, but it's just more like, it can be done. We've done it. It took us a while. I mean, we got the game back, but we could take a look at positives. I say defensively, for the most part, I think is probably one of the highlights that we have. Timber was phenomenal. And we were able to keep our shape for the most part. We neutralized Haaland for the most part. I think those are mainly the positives. I mean, going forward, there's a lot of work to do. There are 2 guys up top, in the attacking 30, looking at Havertz and Declan Rice. They're going to take a little bit of time. But as far as the mentality of the squad in itself, I think there are positives to take from it. But it's important to keep a level head, simply because this wasn't a dominating performance. This was us trying to work out more kinks. But I think going forward, I think this is it's a nice game that we had, and it's a good preparation for the season. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, I think that's right. From a neutral point of view, Mo, what was your take on it today in terms of the game? Did you see an improvement in Arsenal at all, or was it just a case of City, like always, they seem to start the season off slowly? What do you put it down to, bro?
To be honest, Arsenal today, they look like the ones that played the first 29 games of the season, which is a good sign for them. I didn't see them miss Granit Xhaka, which is I thought it will happen, but it didn't. If they had a striker, they would have been 2 up already, which is something I saw them creating chances. Bukayo Saka still driving the defender Akanji to the line, not being shy of going at him, which is a very, very good sign, which is something that we haven't seen in the last 10 games of the season. I thought Man City, just for me today, from the Man City perspective, I know they start slow, and I thought Pep today tried something different than how they ended the season, which is the pivot in the midfield. I don't think it worked because they didn't look dangerous at all, and Haaland was a little bit isolated. Haaland and what's his name, Alvarez. Arsenal, they look good, to be honest. Kai Havertz should not have been playing. And one of the things that we spoke about before, and I think we said that when we spoke with you, Terry, I'm afraid of the stubbornness of Arteta. Why didn't he? Havertz did not look great. And Brandon, you were with me when I said that. I'm scared for that. He was stubborn. Havertz looked out of place in many spots on the field. He should have subbed them out, but he chose not to. This is what I'm scared of, to be honest. But Arsenal look good, comfortable. They look like the same Arsenal that played last year.
Yeah, listen, I hear you on that, and like on Kai Havertz, we've got a few new people on the show as well today. We've got Said, who's here with us, making his Football Terrace debut. What did you make of Kai Havertz's performance yourself?
Well, to be honest, I thought the overall performance wasn't bad, but the fact that he had those misses is going to be. There's going to be a magnifying glass on just the fact that he had those misses, because those are two very good chances that he had, and the fact that he missed them it's cautionary. You got to look at it now, and I have to think: is he good enough to play in that position again? Like even when we played him in that midfield spot where he was playing before, running into the back post, much better in that position, but in the front line, I don't feel like he really fulfilled what he needed to do. He hasn't got that killer finish in him to make sure he gets the ball and puts it into the back of the net. And I wouldn't play him in the front line anymore. I think Trossard was the best fit for that position going into this game, and the fact that Mikel Arteta did that just showed that he wanted to experiment with Havertz, which it's a big risk. Experimenting in a game like this where you're coming up against Man City. Let's face it, I know we had games before. We played more games than them in the preseason. We started our preseason earlier, but Man City's still no joke. Like even when they're with their first team and they're all playing at like 60%, they still can beat majority of the teams in the world. So for me, it was a big risk. Yeah.
I agree with you here. We have a super chat that says, when's the parade, Terry? Haha. Come on, you always say City aren't favourites each season. I actually checked last 5 years videos. What changed since you say City are weak? I didn't say City are weak. I still said they're the favourites of the Prem. I don't know what. I respect the super chat, but I don't understand it because I've literally said City are the favourites. They're my favourites. I said there's a psychological... there's something psychological for Arsenal to take from this, but that won't be damaging to City. It's more about Arsenal becoming a more mentally resilient team. I've said it about 4 times on this 26.5-minute video so far, my bro, that I think City are still the favourites. Yeah, I don't know where you heard that from, but there we go. Havertz here says, this here from Ike says, Havertz was the better striker today. Do you know what? He probably did put a better performance in than Haaland. In terms of his overall play, was probably better than Haaland's. Haaland was invisible today, just like Man City's fans now, ghosting, like gone, nowhere to be seen, disappeared. However, if he had those chances, he scores. 100%. And that's the difference. And it's about getting that balance right. You know, Haaland could be missing for 95 minutes and he'll score that winner. Where with Havertz, he needs to. I feel like when you're an attacker, for all the hard work you put in, all the good things you can do, if you're a winger and you're getting to the byline and all your crosses are overhit or underhit, the rest of your play to a degree becomes a little bit irrelevant because your job is to create the chances. When you're a striker, when you're a goal-scoring midfielder, you have to do that. So I get where you're coming from, but I think he's definitely got to do more. This year, I want to put this question out to the panel here. I know we haven't heard from everybody yet, but we will. Havertz is going to be scary once he gets his confidence back. Bruv really looked lost at Chelsea.
No,
what? You don't agree with that, Brandon?
No, and for like I was, kind of saying earlier, Havertz highlighted the reason why I don't think we'll win the league this season because he's not clinical enough. You just pointed it out there, Terry. Haaland could be missing for 95 minutes. If he gets one of them opportunities, he's putting in the back of the net, and I think that's the missing piece of the puzzle for Arsenal. I think that's what we need. Gabriel Jesus and Trossard are very good at linking up players and bringing other players into play. You know, that's part of the reason why we scored so many goals last season. But there are going to be games this season, like today, where, you know, we're going to get very few opportunities in the game, and we're going to need somebody to come up and be clinical. And Kai Havertz, if we're being completely honest, should have had 2 goals in that first half. He really should. And, you know,